Hi everyone! Welcome to the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma and today we're meeting in the moon garden and we're going to do a little moon garden tour to show you how things are progressing this summer and a little moon gardening task update. Today is summer solstice and I'm recording this a couple of days early because we're expecting to have rain all weekend long, and I always post our moon videos on Moon Day or Mondays, and I wanted to make sure that we got to have a chance to look around the garden this month. So for the month of June, July, August, September, we divide our garden tours up into rooms because there's just so much going on. So some of the Moon Day garden videos will be about taking a walk through the moon garden, a moon garden tour. So I wanted to touch on summer solstice for just a moment because it is today and the energy will be carried forward through the weekend and into Monday. Next Wednesday, so just a couple days from when you see this video or when this video goes out, will be the new moon, and it's all like very cohesive with one another, right? Because the summer solstice asks us to look up and notice what's going on in our lives and illuminate everything that is no longer serving us, and we have this opportunity. We always have the opportunity, but the energy is amplified to take steps in a new direction or to hone in on how we want our lives to really look now. So since winter solstice into spring equinox and from spring equinox into summer solstice, I've been sowing a lot of seeds. And in winter solstice, my life looked completely different. I had a job with a highly reputable woman who was deeply inspiring to me, and that was winter solstice. Of course, there was the new year, so we were like sowing seeds and dreaming of the future. And then it was my birthday, which is always a time that I set new intentions for myself. And then I was released from that position, which kind of had me swirling and in a whirlwind and questioning. And so from that point to spring equinox, I was just sort of floating. And from spring equinox to today, I've been sowing a lot of new seeds in this new season of my life. And I've seen the sprouts. I've seen the new beginnings of a new life emerging. They are not flowering yet, much like the seeds that we would have sown in the ground. Some of them are flowering. Most of them are just growing. And because my life is, it's not an annual, it doesn't end in 1 year, right? It's an ongoing long game. So those seeds, if you were to plant, say, an acorn, you're not going to have a 100-foot tree from spring equinox to summer solstice. So if I'm sowing acorns in my life, I have to remember that the gratitude lies in the tiny sprouted seed. And that's kind of where I'm sitting right now in this summer solstice energy. I also want to point out that somewhere in the world, I'm in the northern hemisphere, somewhere it is winter solstice. And I woke up this morning and it had rained all night and it's gray cloudy skies with the threats of a rainstorm. And I thought, ugh, how is this summer? And I was reminded that the summer solstice is a reflection of the winter solstice and vice versa. And this gives me a deeper reminder that summer solstice illuminates everything in our lives. And so on this gray and cloudy day, I can go inward and really look at what's happening on the inside, not just on the outside and what it appears to be happening. So much of our lives, we're looking on the outside. What's happening out there? What's in my bank account? What connections am I making? Where am I going? What does it look like out here? When the real work is what's happening in here. What's happening in my heart, and what are the connections that I'm having with the divine and with myself to really make my life exactly what I want it to be. And who am I, and what do I want with my life, without looking at everyone else. So that's kind of what I'm doing today. That's my reflection of the summer solstice. And like I said, coming into the new moon, as far as the garden goes, this is a great time to, as we get ready to hit the new moon right now, we're dreaming and scheming and thinking, we're collecting, we're like thinking about the next steps. And then on the new moon, we can expect some really great results when we start planting everything, planting seeds, planting plants, putting things in the soil, and becoming in partnership with Mother Earth to create a bountiful and beautiful garden and life. You know what that sound is. So that's where we are, and for the next couple of weeks, that's where we're going to just be in this energy of quick germination and exciting new things, and the sun's going to be out. It's going to be beautiful, but also the summer solstice marks its summer, but it also marks the descent into the underworld. It marks that it's time to prepare for winter. Which seems so wild because we're just getting into summer. But the sun is saying, don't forget, winter is coming. Because tonight will be the longest night of summer illumination, of sun illumination, and then the days start getting shorter. So, and I don't know where you are. Tell me in the comments below, how late is the sun setting right now in your area? Because around here, it's setting around 9:30, 9:45 is when it starts setting, and it's not pure dark until close to 10 o'clock. I haven't been tracking exactly, but I know at 9:30 it looks like this. You know, just twilight. So, all right, that's all I have to say about the solstice and the moon for today. Let's take a walk around the moon garden and see how things are looking. All right, so everything looks so fresh and clean because it rained. Let's start here in our raised beds, and things are getting really full and beautiful, and I'm so excited about it. I have been leaving these sprouts on my dusty miller, which I don't normally do, and I think I'll probably cut them off of those upper ones, but I'm hoping possibly to collect seed and grow more of this variety. Of course, this was just a variety that I picked up at a big box store, and it had no variety name, so I don't know which dusty miller it is, but it is my favorite. I love it. It has looked so beautiful from day one. And then we have the double up begonia, the white variety, and it's blooming, looking beautiful. The diachondra falls is putting on a little bit of growth. These were all like little divisions. As was this is quite small, and it's getting big. This is the Supertunia silverberry, looking pretty good. It needs to be fertilized. I haven't been fertilizing over here. Definitely getting that sprawl, and it'll start spilling here soon. And then just repeats of the same plants in here. And then we have sweet peas putting on quite a bit of growth here, and those are Spencer's ice cream, so they're white. And then in these baskets we have the Dusty Miller, we have Supertunia Vista, no, Mini Vista white, and then we have Bacopa back there blooming. Isn't that so sweet? And a little tiny sprout of the double up begonia. And what is this? This is part of the Dusty Miller. Okay. I thought that maybe there was a Dichondra Silver Falls right here, but maybe not. In this container, I have Black Prince Snapdragons bulking up, looking good, and little baby sprouts of the Dichondra Silver Falls. This is our glow-in-the-dark white petunia. It's quite compact, quite beautiful. I will do a little experiment with this in the next week or so, and we'll put it in a dark closet because it really does not illuminate. Like, I have a window right here that I can see this, and it doesn't glow in the dark so much as it does just kind of not. I mean, I would say that I can see this Dusty Miller more than I can see this when it's dark out. Look at this spider. Matches perfectly. All right, keep going. We've got our clematis is blooming. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, it's so pretty. We have the white sea thrift, which needs to be deadheaded, and it's got new blooms down low, which is kind of exciting that it's blooming this late, continuing to bloom this late. And then our salvia is coming in to bloom, which is super exciting because I normally don't even get blooms on these because the slugs get to them so quickly. I'm seeing a tiny bit of slug damage. So we're continuing to monitor that, but that's exciting to me. Another Dichondra Silver Falls, another double up begonia, little tiny, like this was like a little broken piece off of something, off of one of those that I just popped in the ground. And then we have the sun patient, the white sun patient there that's starting to bloom, look beautiful. These pots up there are just repeats of what's going on in there. And in this container over here, okay, these things are so crazy because they die back and then they bloom. These are naked ladies, so the foliage has all come up, the foliage will die back, and then it'll shoot up bloom stalks. So we're waiting patiently. In this container, we have zinnias and snapdragons that we grew from seed, and the zinnias are starting to bud up again with the slugs. Look at this. This is a cafe au lait dahlia, which is definitely struggling. And this is another dahlia that is struggling, so I'm gonna have to come in here and make sure, like, check under all the leaves and look for that slug. The Himalayan honeysuckle is starting to put on her flowers, so they're bulking up and going to give us a beautiful show. Here's one that's a little further along. They're sweet little flowers. And I still haven't put chains on these containers, which I do have the chains. I just keep forgetting to put them on because they belong up here. This pot is doing pretty good. The oxalis is just like, I mean, the flowers are closed up because it's shady, or it's like not sunny right now, but they're just going crazy. This is a weed. Okay. For months they've been blooming, and then this ice plant, it's got a bunch of blooms on it, so we'll see what happens, but it's looking pretty sad. I planted it high in hopes that it wouldn't get so waterlogged, but I don't know. This is a sun patient, looking good, and little pieces of repeat plants of the double up white begonia and dichondra silver falls, more repeats in these containers. And unfortunately, these Destiny Millers, ooh, they look really sad. But we still have a few weeks of summer left, so we'll see what happens. You know, like several weeks, not a few. Our hostas are looking good. This is the Blue Moon hosta, and this is the Twilight hosta. And of course, our hellebore is finished for the season. And lilac looks the same. The Bruwala is really blooming like crazy, which is so fun. It is like the sweetest little star flowers. And then we have a morning geranium, which is just hanging out in there. Looks like buttercup. And then we recently planted these containers up last week, and everything's looking good. We've got the gorgeous begonia, which I can't wait for it to get a little bit bigger because it just keeps draping into the soil, and I need it to, you know, be like supported out here. This fuchsia's got a whole bunch of flower buds on it, and this fuchsia is just hanging out, flowers and flower buds on the geranium. Yeah, and then these begonias are looking good. This one had a little bit of sun scorch on it when I planted it, and I took those leaves off, and it looks like it's happy planted on this side of the container without as much sun. Wondering if I should turn the container, because you see this one, this side would get less sun than this side, and I'm seeing this begonia is turning a little bit green. And I'm just wondering if I turn it this way for a week, if it will color up, and then this still is protected over on this side. Let's just see what happens. All right, that's it for the moon garden this week. I realized that I didn't share my June moon plant. I'm trying every month to add a new perennial to the moon garden that will reflect in the moon and come back every year. And I haven't planted it yet, but I bought it, and it's a blue moon wisteria. So, and it's just a little baby. I will pop a picture of it up on the screen of what it's going to look like, so you could see the blooms that I'm expecting to have. But it's going to be quite the project, because we're going to remove this lilac and build a structure for the wisteria to grow on, and then we can plant the wisteria. So it's going to be a moment. And then I need to find July's blooming plant already, or soon anyways. And that blue moon wisteria blooms early June. So something that would cross over, like, that's why I kind of want to find the July blooming like soon, because we're in the last week, right? The last week of June, because I would like it to kind of cross over. Hopefully, once the wisteria is big, it'll bloom, you know, all the way through June and maybe into July. But yeah, sometimes I almost think that I want two perennials because I want something that's going to bloom early in the month and late in the month if it's not going to bloom all the way through. Sorry, I'm being distracted by a bird. Anyway, so that's my June blooming plant, is the blue moon wisteria. And it is a little bit blue and a little bit white, but it'll go right where my blue moon hosta is. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, that's going to be it for today. I hope you had a wonderful summer solstice, that you're having a great start to your summer, that you're celebrating your life, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.